Welcome back to Pokemon Colosseum. Last time we arrived in Pyrite Town, Joy, and caught a bunch of Shadow Pokemon. This time we're going to continue our trek through Pyrite Town and catch some more Shadow Pokemon, because that's just how things go. There's actually one Shadow Pokemon that's just outside of the square that we're going to be dealing with right now. And this guy likes to sing. Why are you calling Wes a little boy, though? It's actually kind of disturbing now that I think about it, but anyway, it's Rollerboy Lon. This guy has the last Shadow Pokemon in the main square part of this town. Sends out Slugma and Azurill. So let's see which one of these is the Shadow. Could probably be either, since neither of them is a Pokemon that wasn't available in Ruby and Sapphire. But it's Slugma. Well, it was kind of easy to see coming, seeing as we needed a Fire type if you didn't pick Quilava, but is it weird that I was actually hoping that it'd be Azurill? Yeah, that really says something. Anyway, getting a Skiploom out of here, because obviously I don't want it to be facing that Slugma, let's go for Croconaw. Obviously a better option here, more for the resistance than the actual damage though. And yeah, even Espeon's return does quite a lot of damage. Slugma is fairly weak. Obviously, here comes the Flamethrower. I actually really like how Flamethrower looks in Colosseum. But yeah, that switch was a good call. And what is Azurill going to do? Water Gun. Funny thing is, this is even the same type attack bonus, because Azurill is only a pure normal type in this gen. It'd become normal fairy later, but regardless, it's never a water type, which is kind of strange. It only becomes a water type on evolution. Of course, this was still the generation where Azurill infamously had a 25% chance of changing genders on evolution, because Azurill was coded as 75% female, 25% male, but Marill is 50% either, so half of all female Azurills become male when they evolve. They fixed that in the later gens, but here I guess it... Well, I mean, there are some real-life animals that do that, like clownfish. Anyway, I'm going pretty off topic. That thing just did 1 damage. That's pretty dumb. Yeah, Azurill is a kind of pathetic Pokemon. I'm not entirely sure why it even exists as a pre-evolution. The line would have worked just fine as just Marill and Azumarill. But anyway, Snag Ball, go! Slugma has a really high catch rate, so a regular Pokeball works just fine. 1, 2, 3... Slugma gets! If you didn't pick Quilava earlier, Slugma is your only option for a Fire type at this point. And it's so bad that it'll make you wish you picked Quilava. Slugma is very slow and has mediocre attacking stats. Stat-wise, its only saving grace is its evolution gaining a very high defense stat, but its pathetic HP really lets it down there. Not only that, but Slugma is the first Pokemon we've encountered to change type on evolution. It becomes a Fire-Rock type, and unfortunately that's a really terrible type combination. Giving it quadruple weaknesses to both water and ground, both of which are quite common, as well as a regular weakness to rock, fighting, and it can't even make good use of the rock typing offensively because its attack stat is so terrible. On top of that, it actually evolves surprisingly late for a Pokemon this, well, bad. Meaning that unlike a lot of the Shadow Pokemon in this game, it's not guaranteed to evolve on Purification. And considering the only thing it has vaguely resembling something good is its defense stat, which doesn't even gain until evolution, that's not good. Really, the only notable things about Slugma are Yawn, which Quagsire does much better, and Flamethrower, which, yeah, why they gave this thing Flamethrower on its starting moveset and not Quilava, I'll never know, but I guess they had to give it something going for it. As far as level up and TM moves go, it learns a lot of physical moves that suck because of its awful attacking stat, and at least it gets both Reflect and Light Screen, so that's something. I'm sorry if you like this Pokemon, but I have very few good things to say about it. Heck, it's not even valuable as a trophy because it's one of the few Johto Pokemon that was catchable in Ruby and Sapphire. Wow, this Shadow Pokemon just gets worse the more you think about it. I feel really bad for it, actually. So, yeah. Igglybuff. Yeah, this trait is pretty weak in general. Lots of baby Pokemon, and his Shadow Pokemon is awful. But it is the best Fire type we have at this point, so we kinda have to use it. Oh, poor Azurill. At least Azurill is not as depressing looking as it... Well, at least this guy has one Pokemon that's not a baby. But at least Azurill isn't as depressed looking as it is in Gen 5. Yeah, at least still looks happy in this generation. Poor Gen 5 Azurill. It just looks so... Yeah, just take a look at Gen 5 Azurill. It just looks so depressed all the time. But anyway, let's just fight this Swablu. It's not a baby Pokemon, but it's still not particularly strong. And Igglybuff isn't either. Because, yeah, one-shot by Shadow Rush. That is probably one of the funnier fainting animations in this game. Although not quite as funny as Jigglypuff deflating. But yeah, let's just finish up this battle. This really isn't that difficult. We do have I think one more battle before we get to the next major part of this town. Although I think we'll be going into a cutscene first. But yes, Rollerboy Lon has been defeated. And actually, I might cut here because I had my first failure at this point. So you know what that means. So, this time when we fought Rollerboy Lon, things didn't go quite as smoothly. Okay, confusion on you. Okay, here's where past me definitely went wrong. I used Croconaur's pretty powerful Shadow Rush against a very frail Pokemon like Slugma. Let's see what this does. Yeah, that knocked out the Slugma. And even though this battle is very easy to repeat, I decided to reset just because I want to snag all the Shadow Pokemon in one go if possible. So, yeah. So anyway, yeah, that Slugma was kind of fun. Until next week, that's kind of funny. You can rematch this guy pretty much whenever you want, so I guess a week passes between those times. So at the moment, we've currently got... well, actually, we had a full team of Shadow Pokemon a while ago, but we've got a decent assortment of Shadow Pokemon here. Gonna switch these two up into the front because I want to get them purified a little bit more. And let's enter the windmill. The very dodgy steam park looking windmill. I love this NPC. I love that line. Yeah, let's spin some gears, whatever that means. Unfortunately, yeah, we have no experience in the art of windmill using. Windmill working. That's probably a better way to say it. And these things appear to be power supplies. There's not much we can do in the windmill for now, but that will change. For now, let's check out this part of the town. We've got a suspicious-looking building here that we can't get into because the door's locked. So, all we have to do is go over this bridge. And I think the next battle opponent is going to be showing up right about now. Yeah, that guy over there in the corner. This guy here, I don't think he battles you. Yeah, there's a big chasm there. And I thought you were going somewhere with that comment, but no. Pirates and Old Mining Town, end of story, apparently. Guess we don't get as much backstory on this place as, Phoenix City. Oh, I thought you could battle that guy. I guess I was wrong. So anyway, let's go ahead and check out the Colosseum. Fitting for this game's name, most towns here have a Colosseum in them. If you win a challenge, you get an awesome Pokemon. And we've seen Kale before, so we have our next destination. But the good news here is, we no longer have to pay for the hotel. There's a healing machine here that's completely free to use, so anytime you want to heal in this town, always go here. Well, if we say yes... Unfortunately, we can't at the moment, but we definitely will be eventually. Let's go ahead and check out our Pokemon in the PC. We've got 4 Shadow Pokemon in here, so we're amassing a pretty big collection of them. Here's Slugma. Slugma is a pretty big fail, though that special attack stat is not really awful. Anyway, do I end up picking up anyone here? No, I leave Miss Dravers in the PC. Good! Yeah, she needs to think about what she did. So, we have a mission. It's to go and talk to Kale at the... What the heck are you doing past me? I guess you... Did you just decide, actually, wait, no, oh. Alright, we're saving. Okay, now that Past Me is saved, let's continue. Yeah, always good to save often, especially after you've caught a whole lot of Shadow Pokemon. Now, the next one that's coming up, it should be pretty obvious because they said that Kale got an awesome Pokemon from winning the tournament here. That was probably the same thing that happened to all of the other random trainers in this area. You really want West, don't you? You just keep approaching him. But anyway. This one, I think we get another chance to quickly if we fail now. But let's battle. Obviously, we're battling him because that's pretty much what we do for everyone. He has his own unique trainer class too, he's Rogue Kale, and he also has his own unique model. This guy is pretty cool, I like him. So he's got a Furret and a Routes. Although, weirdly enough, the Routes is probably a bigger threat. Actually, not really, but in the long run, the Routes will definitely be a bigger threat. Definitely want to focus on purifying this Skiploom. But, Mr. Junior senses something. Yes, that Furret is a Shadow Pokemon. Makes sense given that it's a Johto one. Oh, and that Routes has Chlorophyll. Not that it's going to do anything because I have no access to Sunny Day at this point in the game, but it's still kind of funny. So, let's see. Let's see what Biting will do, and Skiploom is unfortunately stuck with a fairly weak Shadow Rush. I want to purify Skiploom quickly because it'll get Sleep Powder after it's gone through 1 bar of the Heart Gauge, and that's the main reason to use Skiploom. Wow, Routes is so pathetically weak that even Skiploom Shadow Rush did that. I love how it just waddles up like that. But anyway, Routes is not Fairy type in this gen, by the way, so Bite would have been super effective, but this Furret took that like a champ. Yeah, I doubt we have the same moves as you. Imprison is an interesting move in double battles, but it's not like it's going to be much use here. It locks out the opponent from using any moves that the user knows. So you can use that to do things like Shut Off Protect or other moves like that. Other popular double battle attacks. Now, I get the feeling this Route is going to use a non-attacking move and completely waste that helping hand. Let's see. Let's see. Or... Actually, we're double-teaming that Furret. So what's the Route going to do? Moment of Truth time. Yep, it knew that Imprison didn't work last. So yeah, this game's AI is not the best. Definitely not the best at all. As you can tell. Now, Strength from Furret hits kind of hard considering its same type attack bonus. Or Stab, as people call it. And actually, that'll get me to 1 bar of Heart Gauge faster. Still a bit annoying, though. Right, I'm approaching the point where I should probably try and catch this Furret. From an early game Gold and Silver Pokemon, Furret's catch rate is actually not that high. It's actually only 90, I think, so... Unfortunately, I may have to switch out Skiploom. What am I doing? Well, I guess I was sacrificing Skiploom for more Heart Gauge. I know I'm going to heal after this battle anyway. Okay, yeah, that's Skiploom probably gone. One, at least, semi-decent thing about the AI is, in most Pokemon games, they know to use priority moves when you're on low HP, although this can be abused quite easily, if you know what you're doing. You can know that they're going to use a priority move and, let's say, switch into Ghost type or something, in that case, because of Quick Attack. Croconaw is really approaching purification, though. Unfortunately, we can't actually purify Pokemon for quite a while. I still like this battle theme. I'm gambling a little bit on attacking. I'm going to go for the Great Ball, I guess. It's possible that I catch this Furret now. I might not, though. But anyway, let's try. One, 2, 3... Furret gets! So remember how I was saying that I like Zigzagoon for being surprisingly good by early game normal type standards? Well, Pokemon like Furret are the rule that proves the exception. Furret's abilities give you a good indication of what you're in for. One of them is terrible, and the other is outright useless in this game. That's not a good sign going forward. As for Furret's stats, they're all mediocre to terrible apart from speed. Furret does start out at a slightly higher level than the Shadow Pokemon we've seen so far, and it does have a stab move in strength, so it can carry you a little bit early in the game, but after that its stats are going to cause it to fall behind a lot. However, it's not all bad. Forest has exactly 2 saving graces that may make it worth a team slot. The first is Helping Hands. I already discussed how good of a move this is in Espeon's bio, and Furret is, believe it or not, very slightly bulkier than Espeon. So it actually makes for a better user of the move. The second is a move that it learns by level up, Follow Me. This move forces all opponents to target the user that turn, leaving Furret's partner completely safe for a turn. This is an amazing move in double battles, and very few Pokemon in this game get it. In fact, Furret may be one of the only ones, so it may be worth using as a support Pokemon for those 2 moves alone. Its stats are still pretty bad though. Also, that pool of notable TM moves that I showed, I'm mainly just doing that for laughs. For some reason, Game Freak decided to bless Furret with a hilariously enormous move pool. Like seriously, just look at the kind of moves it gets. Thunderbolt, Flamethrower, Shadow Ball, Ice Beam, Brick Break, Focus Punch, Solar Beam? Seriously, what even is Furret's move pool? Many better Pokemon would kill for moves like this. But sadly, a good move pool is not enough to salvage bad stats in some cases, and Furret is sadly one of those cases. But Helping Hand and Follow Me do make it at least somewhat viable. And he replaces it with a C-Dot. I am severely questioning how this guy actually managed to win that tournament. Maybe he's just taking it easy on us with this team. Maybe he's got a different team that he uses for serious battles, and this one he uses for just testing people. So let's finish these things off. Also, I would like to get Noctowl up to 1 bar to get Hypnosis, which is again the main reason to use Noctowl. Was that a KO or not? It was not, okay. Had a feeling it wasn't. But that was. And there goes C-Dot. I always like Shift Tree quite a bit, but that obviously isn't a Shift Tree. C-Dot itself, I remember right, only learns by... Like, it doesn't learn many moves by leveling up at all. It does learn Explosion eventually, but that requires you to prevent it from evolving for a very long time. Okay, Machop. Yeah, I'm double targeting that thing because the routes is pretty much a complete non-issue. Although the Machop might end up surviving here. Let's see if it does. Crocodile's Shadow Rush is still pretty powerful. Yeah, just barely survived. So, what'll it do? What will you do with this turn of, and Ralts still being an idiot, what will you do with this turn of survival, Karate Chop? That hit a little bit harder than I expected, too. I still find it kind of dumb how in Generation 1 Karate Chop is normal type for some reason that makes absolutely no sense to me. But there goes Machop. And very soon Ralts will be gone too. So Kale isn't much of a threat at this point, but you can probably tell. All of his Pokemon will become very, very strong once they evolve. Oh hey, his Ralts is actually female. Most in-game trainers only use Pokemon of the same gender as themselves. Yeah, kinda sorry about that, but we need it more than you do. This is for its own good. Ah, so Afro Man's behind this. Well, I mean, that actually makes total sense. I mean, it was a Furret after all. So, finally we get to use the official term here. Also, we get a very bizarre Meanwhile cutscene here. It's the definitely not evil Sephiroth guy. And we find out Mirabee works for him. This guy's name is Nazcor. So this is already pretty heavily implied. Gathering data, huh? So we know there are others now. Wonder who they are. It's already this early in the game, they're already talking about the final phase. I can imagine Nazcor playing complete deadpan snarker to Mirabee here. And back here. So, yeah, our only option is to battle in the Colosseum now. Does Kale have anything new to say? Yeah. We just saw that by being psychic and seeing that cutscene. So our next destination is the Colosseum. Probably should heal before going in there, though. And thankfully there's a healing machine right there. But before we get there... wow, you look... okay, that's not good. Let's check on this guy. Seems like there was a major attack here. So he shut down the Colosseum. Isn't Silver the friend of Juking? Yeah, let's hear him out. So we've got to find a gear. Also, yeah, I think we have a good idea of why Silver did this. He's kind of taking matters into his own hands. He knows that bad stuff is going on in the Colosseum, so he set out to deprive it of power. That's kind of interesting how there are sort of anti-heroes on all sides here. So, now it's time to search for a gear. So, where would we have seen a gear before? Could it be in that one location that has no other reason to exist? Well, we actually did see a gear in the outskirts stand, but it's not that one. We have to go to the construction site. And see that suspiciously shining object in the corner here? This is the gear we need. I mean, the gear at the outskirts stand was always there from the start, so we would have known it wasn't that one. As the gear here was only stolen recently. So, let's go back and give the gear. Though, really, we're kind of just helping the villains at this point, because they're the ones who want the Colosseum up and running. But we need to compete there ourselves if we want to sneak into their facility. So, we have no choice but to do this. Also, I guess this Silver guy works for Juking. I'd like to hear his side of the story. Well, Juking's here. Yeah, the fact that he assaulted a couple of people, though, that went a little bit far. Yeah, it's us again. And we found the gear. Okay, so I guess we are expanding our circle of trust here. It'll be good to get this guy on our side. If you look closer, you will see that the gear here is missing. So we put it back here. By automatically going into our menu. And there it is. And he still says it. I still love this line. Don't know why, it's just one of the lines that I remember a lot from this game. So, the Colosseum is working again. So, now we can move on with our... Okay, let's talk to Juking first. Well, that was what we were going to do anyway, so nothing much has changed. No, we are not. So, it's finally time to actually compete in this game's namesake. Let's go to the Colosseum. I wonder if this bodybuilder is going to battle us now. I get the feeling this guy does battle you. Maybe he only battles you in XD. Well, we're not going to find out because I ignored him here. Obviously, we want to heal before we enter. And in order to enter, we need to talk to the receptionist. But first, let's get our team in order. It's always best to make sure you have a good balance of types before entering one of these. And Furret is, I guess, kinda strong for this point in the game, so it's an option. But yeah, 57 attack is only a little bit better than Slugma's special attack, and Quagsire's special attack, and Quagsire's special attack is actually pretty low. Anyway, though, I'm going to be bringing Furret just because it's one of my higher leveled Shadow Pokemon here. How's Makahita doing on heart gauge, by the way? Okay, so we know that you have a naughty nature, which actually isn't bad. Not bad at all. That's plus attack minus special defense, if I'm remembering right. Still don't know your nature yet, but we have access to sleep powder. This is very, very, very good. Definitely a great thing to have. So who else do I end up bringing? Remember that the top 2 in your team will be the ones who lead for all the battles that you do in the Colosseum, so make sure there are Pokemon that can handle a variety of situations. Noctowl has Hypnosis now as well, which is also great. So now that we have our team in order, although I kind of wish that I'd gone for Flaffy here, I feel like purifying it would have given me the electric moves that would help make me have a more balanced team. So here's just the explanation. We have to defeat 4 trainers in a row, we get a big cash prize, and a TM for winning. So let's enter with the Pokemon we have, and go in. Unfortunately, Mr. Jr. won't be with us, which is good because we won't be encountering any Shadow Pokemon in here. So it's time for Pyrite Colosseum Battle 1. Now this intro, if you played the battle mode in this game, is the same one from that. In fact, you probably saw it earlier when I demoed Battle Now. So it's time for our first opponent to step into the ring. Hawks. And we have the standard battle theme here. Something that I really like about how the Colosseums work is they use a different battle theme for each round, but I'll get into the later ones later. Just said later twice. Anyway, this guy likes ground types. I actually kind of wish there was a Shadow Sandshrew in this game, but there is not. Makahita is almost fully done with the heart gauge too, which is pretty useful. So, I have access to Surf now, and it could not have come at a better time. Makahita also has access to his full complement of moves. Focus Energy will combo quite well with Cross Chop, though not as well as in later generations, where they buff the critical hit ratio formula. Barboach is part water type, so it's not going to be taking as much damage from Surf, but down goes Sandshrew right off the bat. If you attack Croconaw, I'm going to laugh. Okay, at least you didn't attack Croconaw. Yeah, one problem with Makahita is it's very slow and doesn't really gain great stats until it evolves, which it can't because it's a Shadow Pokemon at this point. So that's not that great. This guy only has 2 Pokemon, so he's going to go down pretty easily. Let's just hit him with a Shadow Rush. And Makahita never even got to do anything, so fat lot of good that Focus Energy did. Well, at least it probably did more good than it would have done during Gen 1, when Focus Energy was glitched and quartered your critical hit ratio instead of increasing it. Because Gen 1 was stupid. Well, we may, but if everyone's as easy as you, then I think that things are going to go pretty well. I like how there's a different jingle for each fight. So our next opponent... why is everyone here so cocky, and yet has such bad Pokemon? Let's see if you can back up your words. I didn't think... Well, actually, I take that back. Metatite is pretty strong, although most in-game trainer Metatites are not that good. So it's time to send out Croconaw and Makahita. Once again, these two will almost certainly end this with their heart gauges completely full. In fact, I think Makahita is full now. And as you'll notice here, you do get fully healed between battles, so this straight win challenge is not really all that hard. Since I'm using nothing but shadows here, you won't be seeing it, but in the main storyline, you actually do gain experience during Colosseum battles, which is very different to how they normally work in the main series Pokemon games. Usually, competitive style battles don't give experience points. That didn't do very much damage. That didn't do very much damage either. But it's not like a Natu will really be doing much in return. Wow, you didn't even target the slot that Makahita was in. Obviously, I sent Makahita back because of the Psychic types here. And as long as Meditite is using Confusion, I'm not scared of it. Meditite's main asset is definitely not its special attack, something that a lot of in-game trainers don't realize. Meditite is, however, a complete beast physically. Okay, Hypnosis actually hit, which is good. Yeah, in this game, if a move misses, you just outright don't see the animation, just like the main series games. In Pokemon Stadium, you actually did see the animation even if an attack missed. In Pokemon Battle Revolution, there was this slight pause between the text for the attack showing up and the attack going off if it missed, so you could already tell in advance if an attack was going to miss, which sometimes got very, very annoying if you saw that slight pause. I always learned to dread that. But anyway, one of our Pokemon is down, and this Meditite likely won't last long, so this battle's going to be pretty easy. Once again, perfect fight with no casualties on my side. Unfortunately, Knockdown Shadow Rush is not particularly strong. Well, it was strong enough in this case, though. That did a lot more than I thought. Also, I really don't get how Meditite can waddle forward on its hands like that while asleep, but yeah, the logic of the sleep status in Pokemon is kind of weird in general. Just like it is in Fire Emblem, where characters can dodge attacks while they're asleep. Guess they can in Pokemon too. So, you obviously could not back up your words. So we move on to match 3, and this is where the music really starts getting interesting. I've got quite a bit to say about this song. Also, this jingle is great. So it's a bandana guy this time. Well, let's see if we can score an awesome Pokemon. We've already got quite a few, though. So, bandana guy Vilch. And this song. So this song is called Semi-Final Battle. It's the only one of all the battle themes that you hear in the Colosseums that is never used during the main story at all. The only times you'll ever hear this song are the 3rd round of Colosseum battles and the later stages of somewhere that we will get to later. But none of the normal trainers in this game's story mode use this battle theme, so it's a really underused song, and it's a shame because it's a really great one. Dang it. That's always annoying. So yeah, this song is just... I love this song so much, and it's just really underused. But anyway, I'm pretty sure Cacnea is not part dark yet, so I don't think this is going to be super effective. Well, it was a crit anyway! But yeah, not super effective. I keep forgetting if Cacnea is part dark or not, but that proved it definitely isn't. Hey! You brought more than 2 Pokemon to this match! You're better than the others so far, by default. He has a Vulpix, I should probably get Skiploom out of here, but for some reason past me decided to be a bit dumb. That Electrike is annoying. I should probably get that Electrike off the field. I was kind of thinking of using Vital Throw because I'm going to go last anyway, thanks to the paralysis, so might as well use a Never Miss move. Yeah, Cross Chop could still miss because it only has 80% accuracy. Okay, I think I get this guy's gimmick. He uses Quick Attack on all of his Pokemon. Pretty simple. Most Colosseum opponents tend to have some kind of gimmick to them. Thankfully, you don't fight the 1-hit KO gimmick guy during the main story. I hate that guy so much, and Paralyze anyway. Actually, wait a minute. I forget if... My Makuhita has Thick Fat, right? I'm pretty sure it has Thick Fat. If it didn't, I'd be... Well, if it didn't, I'd be getting a big boost here from the paralysis, but I'm pretty sure my Makuhita has Thick Fat. But at least Skiploom is on the road to purification, which is good. Like I said, not that we can actually do anything about that for a little while. Haven't missed any of the cross chops, that's actually pretty lucky. Yeah, if I was in Guts range, I was talking about that like it was Blaze or Torrent. But if I was in Guts, that probably would have KO'd, so I'm pretty sure my Makuhita does not have it. Am I staying... What am I doing? What am I doing? I have no idea. I mean, I was kind of thinking maybe about curing paralysis, but I really don't see the point, because I get fully healed in the next fight anyway, and this Vulpix is going to go down to Shadow Rush. Yeah, Vulpix looks... Its model looks a little bit low quality, which is a shame since Vulpix is a pretty cool Pokemon. But we have defeated round 3, and sadly that means we don't get to hear this song anymore. And in fact, that is the one and only time that song is mandatory during the main story, so every other time you get to hear it, all optional. But don't worry, I will be doing some of the optional Colosseum battles, and I actually do plan to be showing something later. Also, this jingle is amazing. But anyway, you will get opportunities to hear that song more. So we have a palette swap bodybuilder. Well, yeah, we definitely want that guy calling for our services, definitely. But it'll help us infiltrate. So, we have a Bagon and a Goldeen. Also, this music. This music is very ominous sounding for good reason, when you find out where it's used in the main story, but, we're not going to get to that yet. This is actually a slightly modified version of the main story battle theme version of this, but we'll, again, get to that later. Quite a bit later, actually. So, let's start things off by cross-dropping this Bagon, because I felt like it was probably the biggest threat here. Let's see if we can actually take it out in one turn. Peck. I always found it weird how Goldeen actually learned Peck, and that did a lot of damage. Yeah, Makuhita's defenses are not the best. It gets a lot better when it evolves. Now, if this targets Croconaw... Okay, at least it didn't. But that was probably thick fat, so... Yeah. Here I am forgetting my Pokemon's abilities. Ah! Oh, well, I guess I can't take that thing out in one turn. If I was me in the past, I would be switching out Makuhita now. Hopefully I did so. Yes, I did so. May even finish this Colosseum fight without even using Espeon or Umbreon. I find it... Okay, the trainers here should be questioning why I have so many Shadow Pokemon. Nah, sadly I'm at a point where calling out of Hyper Mode is not going to give any benefit, so... Might as well stay in it for the high critical hit ratio. Rage. Rage was so good. Just seeing a Croconaw here, Rage on Totodile was so good in not Heart Gold, because you don't even use it in Heart Gold speedruns, but in original Gold and Silver speedruns, Rage was pretty powerful at that point. Rage is a pretty pathetic move at this point in the series, though. It always changes how it works. Sometimes it increases the power of only itself, sometimes it gives you a flat-out attack boost. It's a pretty odd move, and one that's generally not that fantastic, but... Oh, and in Gen 1 it was completely stupid. In Gen 1, it locked you into Rage until you fainted. And if Rage ever missed for any reason other than type immunity in Gen 1, also that was a critical hit. I'm also pretty surprised you have Surf, but it's incredibly pathetic. But anyway, in Gen 1, if Surf ever missed for any reason other than type immunity, its accuracy became 1 in 255. I have no idea why, but once again, chalk it up to Gen 1 being programmed horrendously badly. Not really talking much about Delibird. Wow! You, sir, are an amazing trainer if you're using a Delibird against me. Then again, okay, I can't be the only one who expected that Delibird to be a Shadow Pokemon. I saw that and I was like, oh hey, Gold and Silver Pokemon that's not available in Ruby and Sapphire. It's gotta be a Shadow, right? But no, it's not a Shadow Pokemon. Which is probably a good thing, since Delibird is one of the worst Pokemon in existence. Oh, if only we were spared from the horrors of a Shadow Delibird, but unfortunately, it was not to be. But yeah, I really can't be the only one who thought this was a Shadow at first. So yeah, here's a reason why Delibird is one of the worst Pokemon in existence, Presence. Well, Present actually didn't heal me that time, but yeah. Present is the only move it gets by level up, and it's a very, very stupid move. And it has terrible stats as well. So yeah, that was Delibird. That was Delibird, everyone. We also have a Magnemite here, which ironically is a bigger threat than the Delibird. I probably should be switching out Croconaw now, especially due to having lowered defense and being against an electric type. Do I, or am I an idiot? Okay, I'm an idiot. Or I was banking on putting this thing to sleep. But really, if I was in this situation now, I would definitely be switching out Croconaw. Okay, well, sleep had a hit, that's good. Hey, both of my sleep users get to show off their skills in this Colosseum fight. And now your tiny dot will become a rotated bracket. Okay, now I switched out. Who do I... Or not, or I'm dumb. Yeah, I guess Shadow Rush is probably going to be doing more than Surf. Or I don't even know what I'm doing at this point. Probably should have sent out Makahita and tried to cross-chop this thing. Yeah, I doubt I'm going to KO this thing this turn. Also, the bodybuilder there is very blatantly painted on abs. Because, yeah, the human character models in this generation were pretty dodgy. And, yeah, we were able to take it out this turn. Goodbye, Magnemite. And with that, we have won our 4-round Colosseum Challenge. I don't think a single one of my Pokemon fainted this entire run, so that was pretty impressive. Yeah, good things may be in store for us, but those good things definitely won't be coming from your boss. Good things will be in store for this town too, because we're going to be facing off against him, hopefully quite soon, as we infiltrate his base. For winning, we get TM06. TM06 is Toxic. Not a bad move to teach Umbreon, actually. Yeah, unfortunately, you can't check what the TM is unless you go into your bag, but yeah, it's Toxic. Toxic is, like I said, pretty good move to teach Umbreon if you want. I wonder if I do that now or not. But yeah, at this point, it's probably a good idea to save. Also, I'm just showing that I have 2 Pokemon that's heart gauge is completely open. Unfortunately, the final lock is something that we won't be able to do for a while. Skirploom is definitely on the road to purification, and you're also a naughty nature. I have so many naughty Pokemon. That's kind of weird. Noctowl is not quite there yet, though, unfortunately. So, like I said, I would highly recommend that you save at this point, because after we exit over the bridge, we're going to be taken into the next area and a battle immediately. This battle contains a Shadow Pokemon, and it's a fairly frail one. It's also a Shadow Pokemon that you won't get another chance to attempt until the post-game. So, it's definitely recommended that you save here in case something goes wrong. And just as a little bit of a hint as to what's to come, something did go wrong for me. So yeah, I'm switching Noctowl to the front of my party for a very good reason. But first, it's time to save, or maybe I'm going to switch in some other Pokemon to work on some more purifications. Now that Makahita and Croconaw are totally done when it comes to Heart Gauge, I can probably switch them out with other Shadow Pokemon. It's recommended that you rotate out Shadow Pokemon to purify as many of them as you can. Because let's just say, there is a big reward in this game if you manage to purify all of them. A very big reward. Purifying all of them was going to take a very long time, though. I tried to work on it as best as possible during the main story, though, so I wouldn't have to grind all that much. But anyway, with that, it's time to save, and I'll see you next time for a fairly tricky Shadow Pokemon snag right off the bat. So, see you then.